Hope you all prepared that daily timetable. Yes, that means you are in the right track. So before going to the today's session, I want to revise the last topics. So what you studied in the last session? You remember that? Yes, the discovery of electron. In that session, you studied the characteristics of cathode rays and also the different values. E value, that means charge to mass ratio, mass of the electron. So what do you mean by cathode rays? It's a beam of electrons and that experimental setup, etc., etc. Okay. So today you are going to see the discovery of proton. So before going to that, so what led to the discovery of that? So that means after the discovery of electron, scientists think that atom as a whole is electrically neutral. So that means some positively charged particle also must be there inside the atom. Then only that theory completes. Atom as a whole is electrically neutral. So in addition to that negatively charged particle, some positively charged particle also must be there inside the atom. That led to the discovery of proton. Okay. You can see here, proton was discovered by E. Goldstein. And we also see the same experimental setup for this discovery of proton. The same discharge tube experiment. The cylindrical glass tube. Inside that, we are filling some gases. Again, some two electrodes are there at the two ends. The electrodes are connected to the high voltage source. And again, the cylindrical glass tube is connected to a side tube in order to adjust that pressure variations, etc., etc. So Goldstein conducted the discharge tube experiment and he noticed some rays emerging from the anode. And second point, you can see that he noticed a new kind of rays behind the perforated cathode. Perforated means what? Some holes. So we can put some holes inside that in that cathode. So perforated cathode in discharge tube experiments. So when he conducted the discharge tube experiment, he see that some rays are emerging from the anode and move towards the cathode. And these rays are called anode rays or canal rays. These rays are called anode rays because it is emerging from the anode. So it is called anode rays or canal rays. Okay, so this is the experimental setup for this discovery of proton. The discharge tube experiment. So what is the difference between the cathode ray? This, the rays emerging from the anode. So that is why we call this as anode rays. Okay, so next we are going to see the characteristics of this anode rays. The first point, it travels in straight lines. So how can we say that it travels in straight lines? That also you studied in the cathode ray. So what is that? If we place an opaque object in the path of this anode ray, it casts its shadow. So from that we can say that it travels in straight line. So that is the first point about the properties of this anode ray. Okay, it travels in straight line. The second point, it deflected by electric and magnetic field. In the cathode ray also, you see that it deflected by electric and magnetic field. So here also, anode ray is deflected by electric and magnetic field. But here, the deflection shows the presence of positively charged particle. In cathode ray, the deflection shows the presence of negatively charged particle. That means when we apply that negative field, cathode ray travels to the or moves to the positive field. Here, if we place a negative field, this anode ray deflected towards that negative field, that indicates the presence of positively charged particle. So that is the second point. Deflected by electric and magnetic field indicates the presence of positively charged particle. The third point, made up of material particles. Anode rays made up of material particles. So how can we say that it consists of material particles? Again, if we place a small paddle wheel in the path of these anode rays, the paddle wheel rotates. That indicates the presence of material particles. The fourth point, it consists of positively charged particles. So from the deflection, we can say that anode ray consists of positively charged particles. Then the next point depends upon the nature of the gas. So that is very important. In cathode ray, we see that values, E value, E by M value, etc. that do not depend upon the nature of the gas or the nature of the electrode. Okay, so what does it mean? Whatever be the gas inside that cylindrical glass tube or whatever be the nature of the electrode, the fundamental particle in that cathode ray is same. The values are same. It do not depend upon the nature of the gas. But here, anode rays that depend upon the nature of the gas. The values are different. The charge value, mass value, etc. are different with respect to the, and it depends upon what? The nature of the gas. So that is the main point in the anode rays. We are coming to the values of these anode rays. The first, charge value. You can see that 1.602 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb. The same as that of the cathode electron. The charge of the electron. So here it is positively charged particle and that is the negatively charged particle. So what is the charge value? 1.602 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb. The E by M value, what is that? Charge to mass ratio, and that is equal to 9.58 into 10 raised to 7 coulombs per kilogram. The mass of the proton or the mass of the positively charged particle is 1.673 into 10 raised to minus 27 kilogram. 1.673 into 10 raised to minus 27 kilogram. And we get all these values, these three values, when we fill that cylindrical glass tube with hydrogen gas. So we can say that the lightest positively charged particle is proton. We call that lightest positively charged particle as proton when we fill the cylindrical glass tube with hydrogen gas. Okay, so that is the important thing. So before going to the discovery of neutron, I can say the characteristics of that anode rays. What are they? It travels in straight line, then deflected by electric and magnetic field, consists of material particles, then it is a positively charged particle. The most important thing, that means it depends upon the nature of the gas, and you see the different values when we take the hydrogen gas in the cylindrical glass tube. So what led to the discovery of proton? Atom mass of whole is electrically neutral. In addition to that negatively charged particle, there must be some positively charged particle. So that led to the discovery of proton. Then we are going to see the discovery of neutron. So after many years from the discovery of electron, James Chadwick discovered neutron. James Chadwick discovered neutron. So electron discovered by J.J. Thomson, proton by, or the lightest positively charged particle, proton by E. Goldstein, the neutron by James Chadwick. Okay. So after many years, scientists are very happy about that atom as a whole is electrically neutral, and they found the two particles inside the atom, electron and proton. So they are very happy. But after many years, when they calculated the mass of the atom, problem comes again. Okay. So after the discovery of this electron and proton, after many years, James Chadwick discovered this neutron. So when they calculated the mass of the atom, so mass of the atom means the mass of the particles present inside the atom. So the two particles present inside the atom are what? Electron and the proton. So that the mass of the proton and electron must be same as that of the mass of the atom. But that is not equal to the mass of the atom. So there the problem comes. So after that, James Chadwick discovered this neutron by hitting thin beryllium sheet with alpha particles. Thin beryllium sheet with alpha particles. So what do you mean by this alpha particles? Alpha particle is nothing but the helium nucleus. So James Chadwick bombarded thin sheet of beryllium with alpha particles. We can see the equation here. Beryllium hit with alpha particles. What is that alpha particle? It is a helium nucleus. Then you can see a particle here, a species here, 0 and 1. So that is our neutron. So he can see a stream of highly penetrating rays having no charge. So when this beryllium sheet is hit with alpha particle, a stream of highly penetrating rays with no charge is seen there. So that is our neutron. Okay. Then the mass of the neutron is 1.675 into 10 raised to minus 27 kilogram. So we can say that the fundamental particle of all the atomic nucleus except hydrogen or protium. So in the case of this hydrogen or protium, you know what is the representation of this hydrogen? 1H1. So atomic number 1, mass number 1. So we can find out the number of neutrons by mass number minus atomic number. So 1 minus 1, 0. So that protium is also what? 1H1 is the isotope of this hydrogen. So here in the hydrogen or protium we cannot see that neutrons. In all other species we can find out the number of neutrons. So that is why this point. So fundamental particle, neutron is a fundamental particle of all the atomic nucleus except hydrogen or protium. So in one of the isotope of hydrogen, that is a protium, there is no neutron. Okay. So these are the three fundamental particles of atom: electron, proton and neutron. So electron by J.J. Thomson, then proton by E. Goldstein, then neutron by James Chadwick. In your textbook you can see a table. There all the values are given. So please go through that table. Then I am moving to the next session of this. That is atomic number. Another important area. Atomic number. It is represented by Z. So atomic number means it is the number of protons in the nucleus of an atom, or it is the number of electrons in a neutral atom. So that word is very important, in a neutral atom. So if we know the number of protons, it is equal to what? Atomic number. And it is a chargeless species. No positive charge or no negative charge is there in that particular species, in that atom. We can say that the number of electrons is also equal to what? Atomic number. But if it is a positively charged, for example Mg2 plus or O2 minus, N3 minus, etc., the atomic number is not equal to the number of electrons. So the correct definition for this atomic number is what? It is equal to the number of proton. It is also equal to number of electron only in the case of neutral atom. And how we represent that atomic number? It is represented by Z. Okay. Then we move to the mass number. Mass number, it is denoted by capital A. So what is mass number? It is equal to the total number of nucleons. So what do you mean by nucleons? The total particle present inside the nucleus. So inside the nucleus, two particles, what are they? Proton and neutron. So that proton and neutron together called the nucleons. So mass number, it is equal to the total number of nucleons. So what is atomic number? Atomic number is equal to the number of protons, and mass number is equal to the number of protons plus number of neutrons, or in one word we can say that it is equal to the number of nucleons. Then the next, how we can represent an atom? You can see X, Z, A. So what is an X? X represent the chemical symbol for the element, and A represents mass number, and that is equal to what? Z. Z means what? Atomic number plus neutron. Atomic number means what? It is equal to the number of protons. So that is why A, mass number, is equal to atomic number, that is the number of protons plus neutrons. Then Z represents what? Atomic number, and that atomic number is equal to what? Number of protons. Okay. Then here this N represents neutron number. So this is the representation of atom. X, that is the chemical symbol of an element. Then Z means atomic number and A means the mass number. So consider one example. So here you can see that Na represents what? The element sodium. And 11, it is the atomic number of sodium, and this 11 represents what? Number of proton, and here in this case it is equal to the number of electron. Why? It is a neutral species, no charge there. Okay, so it is 11 represents atomic number. Here in this case it is equal to the number of proton and also equal to the number of electron. And 23 represents the mass number. What is mass number? It is equal to the number of protons plus number of neutrons. Next we are going to see the isotopes. So you are going to see the 4 species: isotopes, isobar, then isoelectronic species and isotopes. Isotopes, isobar, isotones, TONES, and isoelectronic species. So first we consider what is meant by isotopes. Isotopes are the atoms of the same element. So that is very important. Atoms of the same element which have same atomic number but different mass number. Same element means same atomic number with different mass number. So you see these examples: 1H1, 1H2, 1H3. So these are 3 isotopes of hydrogen. So we named as protium, deuterium and tritium. So here in all the 3 examples, 3 cases, you can see the atomic number of this hydrogen is same. Atomic number 1. So same element. Then what about the mass number? In protium, mass number is 1. In deuterium, mass number is 2. And in tritium, mass number is 3. Then what is the property? Same number of electron and proton. So same number of electron and proton. So these are the neutral species. So atomic number means what? It is equal to the number of proton. In the neutral species, it is also equal to the number of electrons. So that is why in isotopes, same atomic number, that means same number of electrons and same number of protons. Since these isotopes are of the same element, they almost have same chemical properties. They show same chemical properties because they all are same elements with a different mass number. So that is the isotopes having same atomic number, which means same element but different mass number. So other examples are also there. Carbon, carbon 612, carbon 613, carbon 614. These are the different isotopes of carbon. Then chlorine also, different isotopes are there. Okay. So these all are different examples for this isotopes. Same atomic number with different mass number. Then we move to the next species, isobar. So isobar means atoms of different elements. So different element means atomic number differ. Atoms of different elements having same mass number but different atomic number. What about isotopes? Same atomic number, same element, mass number different. But in the case of isobar, different atomic number, which means different elements. But all these elements are having same mass number. See, we consider the examples. Argon 1840, potassium 1940, calcium 2040. Atomic number, different elements. So different atomic number. Then what about the mass number? Same mass number. So isobar means different atomic number, that means different element but same mass number. Okay. Then move to the next species. What is that? Isotones. Next we are going to see the isotones. Isotones, atoms having same number of neutrons but different mass number. So here you can see the different elements with the different atomic number, different mass number. But what is same there in case of isotones? Same number of neutrons. Okay. So here you can see the examples. Oxygen 816. The number of proton is 8. Number of neutron is 8. Then nitrogen N715. Proton 7, neutron 8. Then carbon 614. Proton 6, neutron 8. So what is same in all these 3 cases? Neutrons same. So that is the isotone. Atoms having same number of neutrons. So in all the 3 cases, atomic number different, mass number also different. But what is same here? The number of neutrons. Then we move to the next species. What is that? Isoelectronic species. Next is the isoelectronic species. From the name itself, electronic. That means same number of electrons. Iso means same. So electronic means same number of electrons. So species, that means that may be an atom or ions containing same number of electrons. Atom or ions containing same number of electrons. So that is the isoelectronic species. So when we consider the examples, O2 minus. You know the atomic number of oxygen. What is that? 8. 2 minus means 2 negatively charged electron is also there. So 8 is the atomic number, means if no charge is there, the number of electron is also 8. So 2 minus means 2 more electron is added. So what is the number of electron in O2 minus? That is 10. Then in F minus, fluorine atomic number is 9. Then minus means 1 more electron is added. So the total number of electron is here also 10. Then Na plus, sodium atomic number is 11. Then plus means 1 electron is removed. So 11 minus 1. So what is that? 10. Then Mg2 plus, magnesium atomic number 12. 2 positive charge means 2 electrons removed. So the number of electron is 10. Then Al3 plus, their atomic number 13. 3 plus means 3 electrons removed. So the number of electron is 10. And here we can also add neon, Ne. It's a neutral species. Atomic number is 10. So the number of electron is also 10. So isoelectronic species means atoms or ions. So this is an atom without charge. Then all the other examples, you can see some charges, positive or negative. Then whatever it is, the number of electron is what? 10. So that is isoelectronic species, having same number of electrons. So we are going to find out the number of protons, electrons, neutrons, atomic number, etc. Okay, so complete the table. So here you are given the 4 examples. The first one, oxygen. You are given atomic number and also the number of neutrons. So atomic number means what? It is equal to the number of protons. So we can here write 8 because atomic number represents what? The number of protons. And here in oxygen no charge. That means it is a neutral atom. So in case of neutral atom, atomic number is also equal to what? Number of electrons. So we can also write here 8. Then how we can find out the mass number? Mass number is equal to what? Atomic number plus number of neutrons. So what is atomic number? 8. 8 plus 8. It is equal to 16. So 16 is the mass number of oxygen. Then the second example, aluminium. You are given mass number and also the electrons. So here no charge. So electron 13 is equal to what? The number, atomic number, because it is a neutral atom. So here we can write 13 because aluminium is a neutral one. Here no charge is there. So we can write that 13 here. Then atomic number means what? It is equal to the number of protons. So we can also write 13. Then we can find out the neutrons by mass number minus atomic number. So 27 minus 13, that is equal to 14. So that is the number of neutrons. Then the third example, Cl minus, one negative charge is there. And you are given the mass number and also the number of protons. So if it is a charged one or the neutral one, the number of proton represents what? Atomic number. So we can write 17 here. But what about the electron? It is not equal to the atomic number. Why? It is having a charge, negative charge. So negative charge means one more electron is added. So the 17 is the number of proton and it is equal to the number of electron if it is Cl. But here it is Cl minus. So one more electron is added. So 17 plus 1, that is 18. So the number of electron is 18. Then what about the number of neutrons? Mass number minus atomic number. So 35 minus 17, that is equal to 18. So that is the number of neutrons. Then the last example, Mg2+. It's a positively charged species. You are given the number of neutrons and the number of electrons. So number of electron is 10 because 2 plus 2 electrons are removed from that neutral atom. So if it is a neutral atom, 2 more electron is there. So 10 plus 2, 12 electron is present in the neutral atom. So we can say that 12 represents the number of electrons in neutral magnesium. So that is equal to what? The number of protons. So 12 is the number of protons because 2 positive charge means 2 more electron is there in the neutral atom. Then 12 represents protons, that also equal to what? Atomic number. So 12 is the atomic number. Then how can you find out the mass number? Atomic number plus neutrons. So atomic number is 12 and the number of neutron is 12. So 12 plus 12, 24. So again, atomic number represents the number of protons. It is equal to the number of electrons in the neutral atom. Then mass number represents the number of protons plus neutrons. Then how can we find out the mass number? Number of protons plus number of neutrons. And if you are given the mass number and atomic number, how can we find out the number of neutrons? Mass number minus atomic number gives the number of neutrons. Okay. So in the next class, we will see the different models of atom. Okay. Thank you.